Hi everyone, welcome or welcome back. My name is Matthew and today I'm here to give you the biggest sign your manifestation is coming. But before we get into that, if you are in need of my help in creating your perfect life, check the links down below in the comment section or the description. They'll take you to my website where you can sign up for coaching. With that out of the way, let's get into this video. Before I get into the biggest sign your manifestation is on its way, I want to point out to you that signs are only part of your bridge of incidents. They are only things that are showing you that your focus is being directed in the right place and that your subconscious mind is taking it on board. This means that 1, signs don't necessarily need to appear in order for you to get your manifestation, which I'll get onto in a minute, and 2, as they are only the middle, this means that you do not need to place all of your focus on them. You do not need to be looking for signs. You do not need to even acknowledge that they're there if you don't want to. I'll get onto that point at the end of the video, so stick around to find out. But signs are just part of the bridge of incidents. Therefore, there is no need for you to overextend or underextend into them. Now, the story that I want to tell you about there not being a sign and then getting my manifestation is actually when I manifested my person back, when I manifested Katie back. I had 0 signs besides this one that I'm about to tell you. But in terms of external signs, I had nothing. No, I didn't see her name anywhere. No one mentioned anything to me about her. There was absolutely nothing. You could even say that there was no movement either. And yet I still got my manifestation. So if you are not seeing signs right now, that's perfectly fine. You could wake up tomorrow and your manifestation will be in. In fact, I'm going to affirm you're going to wake up tomorrow and your manifestation is going to be here. But if you are not seeing signs, or if you are seeing signs, this doesn't really mean anything, because the biggest sign is what is going on inside of you. The 3D reality is just a reflection of what you are showing it. What you have going on up here is what is going to be pushed out here, which means you must first feel and think and assume and give meaning to the things that are all happening up here before it materializes. So the biggest sign that your manifestation is on its way, and the sign that I had when I manifested my person back, was the internal shift. When I was manifesting Katie, I was extremely desperate to begin with. There is no denying this. I was working on every technique under the sun, watching videos, trying to distract myself, and just everything that you could possibly imagine. It wasn't until I had decided and told myself that if I never see Katie again, fair enough. I had done all of what I felt was enough to be doing the work. I had said, look, I've destroyed myself over this. I've affirmed a million times. I'm going to let go now. I'm going to visualize at night, visualize in the morning, and read a couple of scripts, and then just make sure that if I have thoughts about her, I will flip them. But my main focus is now going to be myself, because I decided that if we're to get back together, I need to work on the sides of me that were causing the problems. This shift was my biggest sign. When I managed to let go of all of this desperation and could affirm and visualize and read my scripts in a loving standpoint, coming from love and not need, coming from, I know that we can be better, let's give this another go, like, you know, we're in love, in great stuff. That all sounds really corny now that I'm saying it, but you know what I mean. When I was coming from that angle, as opposed to, I must affirm, I must affirm, I must affirm, I need her back, I need her back, that was the first shift. That was when I was like, I was overextending. I was putting too much effort in. I was trying to force and change and manipulate, as opposed to just living in the end. So that was the first sign, was the letting go of the need for it. The second sign, and it's the same sort of sign, but the second time I felt this sort of sign, was an element of calm the night before. The night before I ended up having the call from Katie, the missed call from Katie, I felt different. I felt like nothing particularly mattered. Not in a depressed state of like, oh, life's over, yada, 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 but in a state of, I feel good. I feel like nothing matters. The breakup doesn't matter. The time apart doesn't matter. The no contact doesn't matter. The fears don't matter. None of it matters. I felt calm. I felt collected. I visualized that night, and I was like, even though I really struggled to visualize, as I mentioned in other videos, I still tried to put the effort into it. I felt good. That scene felt real. It felt like I was really there. It felt like more so than I had done before. It felt like actually I was like walking into this scene. I literally just picked myself up and placed myself right into this scene. It felt so real and it felt so good. Then the day after, I woke up with 2 missed calls. One from Katie, which I didn't know at the time, and the other from my mum. Because my mum had called me after Katie, her name showed up, like instead of Katie's. But I just knew something inside me, an intuition, if you will, told me that the other missed call was from Katie, even though there had been no movement in the 3D. I do that because I don't believe that there's no movement, but you know, in terms of 3D, there was no movement. There was no signs. The only sign that there was my internal shift. But I just knew that that call was Katie. I rang her and Katie was saying, look, I'm on my way to your house. Obviously I wasn't there. If any of you have watched my X-Back video, I was actually at my friend's house. And she said, look, let's talk. Let's sort this out. Let's go over it. Let's work on, you know, building this back up. And therefore she ended up coming to my friend's house, picked me up, and we had like a great day together. But the key things that I want you to take from this is it was the first shift of, actually, I need to work on me. I've done enough of the affair for Katie. I feel like I'm getting too obsessed. I need to take a step back. I'm going to work on me. That was the first step, or first sign, sorry. The second one was the night before it came. I felt this calm. Some of you will like to refer to it as like the Sabbath state. I don't particularly use terms too much because I like to just point out what it is instead of going, oh, this state, this thing, that thing. I just felt a calm. I just felt a level of calm and collectedness. I just knew it was done. The visualization hit different. I woke up in the morning, even though there was no way for me to know that it was Katie. I intuitively knew that it was Katie that called. And boom, there was the call. That same day was the reconciliation. The 2 biggest signs that I had was internal shifts. Because in here is what matters, or sorry, in here, your body, wherever you want to refer, because in here is what matters, not out there. If you feel a shift in here, that's the sign that you should be looking out for, if any. That's the sign that you should get excited about. If I had seen Katie's name, that didn't mean anything really. All that meant is that my subconscious mind had been impressed by me saying Katie. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was impressed by me affirming this loving relationship. If I'd seen someone that looked like Katie, it could have just been my mind or my subconscious mind taking in the image that I was giving it of Katie, not necessarily the relationship of me with Katie. So what really matters is what's going on in here and in here. What you feel, how you think, the state that you're thinking from. If you're naturally and unconsciously thinking things like, I can't wait to see them today. Or, you know, oh, they're going to love it when I show them this thing that I've done. Or, oh, I have so many memes on my phone, I can't wait to show them. If you're thinking those things just unconsciously, as if you're about to go home and they're going to be there and throw their arms around you, that is the biggest sign your manifestation is coming. Because you've stepped into this new state. You have become the person who is in this relationship up here, and therefore it is only a matter of time, and you can know that it's going to happen, that your desire is happening. Because, and I mention this in almost all of my videos, it is your dominant state that manifests. The affirmations, the visualizations, the techniques, they get you into the state of being in the wish fulfilled. They don't keep you there, and until you redirect your focus back using the techniques, you don't necessarily stay there if you fall into the old version. It's the act of repeating these processes and utilizing when your subconscious mind is most receptive that puts you into the state and can impress the subconscious mind with the seed more. But if you are naturally just falling into this state without having to affirm, without having to force it, that is your dominant state. That is the state in which you are operating from. And since it's your dominant state, and due to spiritual law, there is no other option that your subconscious mind can do but push out this result. You have no other option unless you physically choose to deny it, as in your person comes to you saying, hey, I want to get back together, and you say no. There is no other option but for your subconscious mind to push this reality out for you, because it is the state in which you are dominantly residing in. This is why statements like the rich get richer, or when it rains it pours happens. You are dominantly rich. Because of this, you just get more riches. You are dominantly having a bad day. Because of this, bad things happen. This is why exponential growth is such a thing. This is why the rich get richer. This is why when it rains it pours. Because once you're in this dominant state, things just happen naturally. So if you feel this shift internally, if you feel like you're unconsciously thinking about them in a positive, loving way, about how they love you. Obviously, this doesn't just go for people. I just use the example of my specific person. But if you just feel like that job offer is yours, if you just feel like you're going to be working in this office, or the house down the street that's gone up for sale, something just feels like it's yours, and you've been working on making it yours, it's happening, and nothing can stop it. Nothing. Your subconscious mind is the most powerful thing you have to your advantage, I suppose. Maybe not advantage, but you know what I mean. It's the most powerful tool in your arsenal. So if your subconscious mind is naturally doing things, it's done. Nothing can stop it besides you choosing not to have it. So that is the biggest sign, the internal shift, knowing that it's done. Now, going back onto no signs and positive signs and everything, not having a sign does not mean that it is not coming. I want to reiterate that. I had the internal shift sign, so I did technically have a sign, but external things does not mean that it is not happening. No movement in the 3D does not mean that it is not happening. Like I said, I had no movement. Oh, again, no movement. And I had no external signs. And boom, I woke up one day to a missed call, and the same day we reconciled. So if you're not seeing movement today, and if you're not seeing signs today, that does not mean that it's not happening. And you should not be looking for signs. This is another thing that I wanted to point out. Signs are a means to an end. If anything, they're partial manifestations due to your subconscious mind picking things up. If they are evidence of your manifestation actually coming, as in like the bridge of incident sort of signs, great. Dwell in them, use them, enjoy them, let them fuel you, but don't go looking for them. Because when you're looking for signs, you are in a state of separation. You don't look for something when it's in your hand. I don't have my phone in my hand and going, oh, where's my phone? I don't have it. Unless, you have a brain fart, and I've done that before. I've used my phone's torch to try and find my phone. Just don't even ask. But 90% of the time, you're not holding an object looking for that object. Therefore, if you have your desire up here, you're not looking for the signs. You're not looking for the evidence and the movement. When you are doing this, you're in a separation of having your desire. And if it's a regular thing that you're doing, your dominant state is clearly not of having your desire, which is the reason your desire is not in yet. So therefore, you should utilize, instead of looking for the signs, redirect focus back to the end result. So what did I cover there? So yeah, no movement, no signs, not a bad thing. If you see a sign along the way naturally, like you weren't looking for them, you just go, oh, their name. Oh, like that person looks like them. Oh, people are treating me amazingly. My self-concept must be improving. Enjoy it. If it's there naturally, enjoy it. Focus on it. Allow it to be something that's showing to you your subconscious mind is impressed with the seed and is pushing it out. But enjoy it for a moment and then go back onto the end result. Because again, a sign is not your end result. Therefore, there's no reason to place too much focus on it. Utilize it, use it as a tool to your advantage, but don't dwell on it too much. Because the biggest sign, and I'll reiterate again, is what's going on in here and in here. Seeing something out there is technically all old story, which means any sign that you see is an old story sign, which means, if you've had a spiral since then, maybe things might go a bit differently. Who knows? I don't want to put the fear of God in you, but it's a potential, it's a possibility. The only way that we can know truly what's going to happen is what's happening in here. So if you feel that shift, the Sabbath state, as some people like to call it, you're on the right track. You're bound to get some sort of movement, some sort of evidence, or even your full desire very shortly. I don't want to promise that, but every time I've got to this state, it's been very quick. So this is from my experience. Take that with a grain of salt if you will. But make sure you're working on what's going on in here and in here more than looking for what's going on out there. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. If you are in need of my help, check the links. Katie's tarot stuff is all back in stock, so if you're interested in any personalized tarot readings, go check that out. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.